My buddy who builds firearms, he builds, accurate rifles, he sent me load data and he's like, just do this. Just do exactly this, because he built, but it's a similar rifle. It's not the same rifle, it's similar. He said, just do this, and that's all.
So did he give you an overall length in the recipe he gave you?
Everything. The recipe is detailed from primer to bullet to case, everything. Like I want to say it is Varget that he's using, and he says this is what I find works best. So would that be my starting point, or should I still maintain the slow, medium?
So with whatever that chambering was, because I doubt it was a 7 PRC that he gave that to you for, right?
No. It was more along the lines of like the 6 GT.
Okay. So first thing you want to do, so one of the, there are rules to everything, right? And one of the rules of reloading is don't use components of unknown origin. Meaning somebody gave you a can of powder and, it's open or partial.
Right.
Is it really what it says on there, right? Or did they happen to pour some other stuff in there? So don't use components of unknown origin. Don't shoot somebody else's reloads.
That's
because
fair.
you don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Don't smoke while you're reloading, because that could be a problem.
I can see that.
Yeah. Don't reload when you're tired and can't give it your full attention, because you may misread a setting on the powder measure or a number in the manual, and it causes you to do something wrong. And I have stories for every one of them. That to explain these things.
Do tell.
So don't use components of unknown origin. All right. So I was teaching a reloading class many, many years ago, and had an individual in the class that said the data in the reloading manual is wrong. And it was like, well, and at that time, that particular reloading manual, there were some errors in there. Nothing that was catastrophically unsafe. And I said, why do you think that? And the gentleman said, I followed the recipe and I blew up my rifle. And I went, well, glad to see you're okay, but hard to say what happens. If you had some of that ammunition, we could take it apart and look at it. He goes, I've got one right here. Ooh, that was rather interesting. So it was a 270 Winchester, not a 7 PRC. Yeah. So I took a kinetic bullet puller and I knocked it out. Yeah. And this is in front of the entire reloading class. And once I saw the propellant that was in there, I said, what were the rules we talked about at the beginning? Don't use components of unknown origin. I asked the gentleman, where did you get that powder from? And he said, it was my grandfather's. He passed away. I got his components. I said, so here's the problem. There is no propellant on the planet that has ball, flake, extruded, and all different sizes and colors in one can.
So you're telling me do not just mix these?
Absolutely not. So obviously whatever that can was, whatever the label was, his grandfather used as a remnant can or a cleanup on the bench and just poured it in there. And his grandfather did that. But this gentleman did not understand reloading to know that no powder was built like that, and he used that as what it was on the can.
Oh my God.
So you could imagine putting pistol powder into a 270 rifle case. Yeah, he's lucky he didn't lose some body parts with that one.
So. Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. So do not use unknown components at all with your rifles. It'll save you a lot of heartache, and it would have saved him from ruining a good gun.
Right. Yeah. So that's unknown components. Don't shoot someone else's reloads.
So when you say don't shoot someone else's reloads, are you talking about like, all right, you're shooting a 270. Well, I happen to have one right here. Shoot that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So where it could be safe in your rifle, it might be an overpressure load in my rifle due to overall length or something else.
Right.
And the same thing is, I didn't load it. Well, I don't know how you do
I can tell you this, Kent probably doesn't want to shoot my reloads. Anyway. These are trash.
Yeah. But so, that falls in that same bone of unknown, origin. So you don't want to shoot somebody else's reloaders. And then
don't smoke.
Don't smoke. That should be fairly obvious. This is a propellant. It will burn very fast, very large. Yeah. Fire extinguisher will not put it out when it's burning. When it's consumed all the propellant that's available, that's when it stops burning.
And you had another one that is kind of my, it's kind of my fifth rule of shooting is just be there. Don't have any outside influences. Right. Be focused on what you're doing, the task at hand, because this is serious business.
Right. Yeah, so don't reload when you can't give it your full attention. Yeah. If you're tired or if you're in a rush, and I could give personal experience to that. I was, when I'd been in the industry maybe 10 years or so, I was in a rush to load for a match. Standard 9mm pistol, progressively loading, I'm cranking them out. And at some point I looked up and realized that the powder measure had gone empty. And I went, I loaded a bunch of 9mm with no powder in there. So I knew from that bin, it's somewhere in that bin is when it went empty.
Ran out.
Right. So I know I got to go through these. Well, I did the shake test. So it was a 9mm. I went, I could hear powder. I could hear, no powder. So that went into the disassemble load. It didn't really dawn on me. There might be that one that got the last little bit of powder, but not all of it. Right.
Yeah.
So that one got through. Yeah. I did find that one. And unfortunately, it was a H&K 94 9mm carbine. I was shooting, bang, 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 pop. I went, ooh. And I immediately knew what it was. I went, Well, the interesting thing was the carbine cycled.
Yeah.
So it ejected the spent round. It had chambered a new one even, because I pulled the magazine, pulled the bolt back, loaded around, and I wasn't going to look down the barrel because it's a 16-inch barrel. So I blew in the chamber and I swore I saw smoke come out the end of the barrel, meaning the barrel's clear.
Right.
Magazine back in, let the bolt fly, fired the next round, boom! I was like, what was that? I looked and looked. Had I looked down the barrel, I probably would have seen the bullet, because the last inch of the barrel was bulged out when that next round came through and hit it and blew it out of the end. So not paying attention caused a problem.
Yep.
That was pretty pricey to replace that barrel.
Yeah, it is. And then, anything else? Any more rules of reloading?
Yeah. So that should keep you safe.
All right. You want to be safe when you're reloading. Remember the rules of reloading. They'll keep you safe. They'll keep you accurate. And, man, you might put something on the ground. Like a deer.
To see all of Gun Talk's content, go to guntalk.com, guntalktv.com, or sign up for the Gun Talk newsletter.